Happy Monday. Happy Monday, YouTube. This is Christal with From Christal with Love XO, and I am coming to you during lunchtime because of a emergency with the Real Housewives of Potomac last night. I don't know if you guys have kept up with this season, but this season of Potomac, I want to congratulate Andy Cohen on superseding, I think, every season of every other franchise, every other Real House franchise over the last couple of seasons. I know that there's a lot going on with the ladies, with Jen Shaw and all that, but this season of Potomac, in my opinion, I just every week, every Sunday, we are blown away. Hey, Kevin, welcome. So I got my good girl, Brenda, and I'm going to bring Brenda on because I am texting you last night, Brenda, and we're going back and forth, and we usually agree. However, today we are on opposite sides of the fence because of last night's conversation. Now, again, guys, we're talking about this current season of Potomac. So in the comments, I want you guys to let me know what you think. I told Brenda I am team Robyn and Brenda is team Grand Dame.
I'm not even necessarily team Grand Dame. I mean, technically I am, but I'm never team Robyn. I've never been team Robyn since this show premiere in 2016, and I probably never will be, but we will get into that.
Yeah, I mean, because again, I want to say that, like I said, I this is only because of how this season has gone. We've talked about the issues with the Green Eye. Is it the Green Eyed Bandits? What are they? Yeah,
the Green Eye Bandits, and or as Carlos King calls them, Batman and Robin.
Quite just literally Batman and Robin, because we know that Robyn, and I've interviewed Robyn. I'm sure you've interviewed Robyn.
I haven't interviewed Robyn. I've only interviewed Wendy and Mia, I believe.
Oh, wow. So okay. So I'm putting that out there. I definitely want to talk to both Mia and Wendy, but, and we're going to talk about the entire cast, because like I said, this season to me, Potomac has always been good. It's gotten better since but over the last couple of seasons, to me, it is definitely, it is must see TV. It is definitely the epitome of guilty pleasure. But let's get into this conversation about Team Robyn versus Queen. And if you're going to go with Karen, you just got to go with Karen. You got to just be Team Karen.
Yeah, there's no straddling the fence here.
Cannot straddle the fence. Cannot straddle.
We'll still be friends after this, so no one has to worry. But
absolutely, and it's crazy because, like I said, we usually are journalists that look at it, so usually our opinions align. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you this. So I'm just going to say let's do a recap of last night's episode. The ladies are in Rivera, Mexico. It is a whole shit show happening, right? There are issues with Mia and Mia's friend. We'll get into that later. Robyn has announced to the ladies, after much prodding, you can tell she doesn't really like talking about it, that she and Juan are actually getting married. Just the four of them. They're two boys and themselves. Karen this whole argument to me started because Karen does not like Charisse, and Karen does not want to be held to the fire to explain what it is about Charisse that she doesn't like. I feel like Karen just feels like she's above Charisse and doesn't want her around. She refuses to acknowledge her. But yet Charisse is on the trips, which is interesting because when we first were introduced to the ladies of Potomac, Charisse was kind of like the central piece. Obviously, yes. I don't know.
Was the Nene of the group. Charisse is the one who cast the entire show.
Exactly. So let's start there. And in your opinion, why do you think Karen has such an issue with Charisse?
I don't really know what the specific issue that Karen has with Charisse. The only one that I could think of are, the comments that she's made about Karen's marriage with Ray. But I don't agree with you when you say that you just think that she has an issue with her and she doesn't want her around. I do think that Charisse does a lot of sneaky things behind the scenes because, like I said, I've been a part of the show since season 1.
Mhm.
It debuted actually my birthday weekend of 2016. And the first two seasons, we know Charisse was present, and she was kind of like the peacemaker of the group because she was going through her own issues. She was in the middle of a divorce, and then she decided to, leave the show. But she's been straddling, coasting for the past, I guess, 4 or 5 other seasons as a friend of the show. Initially, she brought Monique Samuels on. She
Mhm.
was a friend of Monique's, and that's when I started to see that Charisse played games behind the scenes because of her fallout with Monique.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not necessarily like a fanatic of any specific reality star because I feel like our opinions about them can change season to season.
Absolutely.
But I do pay attention to patterns. And remember when Charisse fell out with Monique, it was Charisse who was supposed to be responsible for bringing this alleged rumor about Monique and her trainer having an affair, and there being a question about the paternity of Monique's youngest child.
I remember that.
Nothing, it didn't land because Charisse was never brought back into the show in that capacity. She didn't
Mhm.
have her own confessionals. You
Mhm.
did see her, show up to filming at events with the groups, but she was barely mic'd, and a lot of people didn't pay her any attention. She was coming on through Robyn and Giselle, but none of the other ladies really dealt with her. Candace wasn't dealing with her because Candace fell out with her, when Candace joined the show in season 3.
Mhm.
Monique wasn't dealing with her because of the accusations that she alleged that Can that
Monique.
that Charisse was facilitating,
Mhm.
throughout Potomac and throughout the social group. So I do think that there are things that Charisse does that she attempts to bring onto the show,
Mhm.
but it just hasn't necessarily landed because she doesn't have enough people within the group to, I guess, root for her to be on the show. Right now, it's just Robyn and Giselle.
Giselle. Okay, I think that every single lady on this show and probably all the franchises are sneaky as hell. And I think they all do that. Like they all I for some reason I agree with Charisse. Initially she was like a star player. I don't know if her ratings weren't great because we know Peaches or what do they have? The Atlanta
I think
Housewives have
champagne
Peaches.
fruit. I think they have champagne fruits.
Well, those select spots are given out to who brings the hottest ratings and who actually storyline resonates most with the viewer. So for whatever reason, Charisse started everything off, and then people weren't really feeling her, and they brought on a lot of much younger,
Mm-hmm.
much younger like.
I feel like this is the youngest cast.
Yeah, it is, and I think that to me, Potomac has this air of like beautiful women. Like it's a different level of beauty than I think other franchises have. I mean, two of the girls are beauty queens, right? So they're they're privileged and beautiful in a different way. So I feel like it's almost I kind of compare it almost, not quite, because the ladies in Hollywood, those ladies, you could tell they had money. They had been having money for years. This is not a game. It's not the same desperation that you see on some of the other series where people are trying to get on. So Charisse and Karen obviously were established. Obviously, were very affluent in that DC upper crust. Um, who's who?
Yeah,
Like
like Gala girls
right
and
now,
all of that stuff. They were really heavily involved in charity and in the
yeah,
social scene and all of that. Yeah.
absolutely. So it's my opinion that because I don't think doing sneaky stuff behind everyone's back and bringing issues, that's part of being on Real Housewives. The issue is, I think, when you have two women, because usually in a situation like that, those two are going to kind of be pitted against each other, almost like the two beauty queens, Ashley and Candace, go at each other because they're like each other's equal, right? I feel like Karen does not want another woman that actually is of a certain age. They're equals. And she actually comes from that world. And she probably does know more about Karen's reality than Ashley or Candace or even Robyn and Giselle, because there's like a pretty good age gap, about a 10-year age gap between Karen and Robyn and Giselle. And then again, another 10-year age gap between Robyn and Giselle. And then like Candace and
Actually,
Ashley. Um,
I agree. I think Charisse has dirt on all of them, which is why I feel like Giselle specifically aligns herself with Charisse, because Charisse and Giselle fell out as well. And Charisse was not feeling Giselle for like 2 seasons.
Right.
Every time she saw her, Charisse was bringing out her alter ego, Shasha. Now all of a sudden, her and Giselle are chummy. Get the hell out of here.
Well, I think Giselle likes anyone that is at odds with Karen, because I do think, and that feels very. I'm not even gonna say what I think about that right now. But it's just it's very weird that the two of them have that type of competitiveness. But talking about last night's episode, Karen, to me, I feel like across the board, because we have these age gaps, there's almost a 20-year age gap between Karen, which is why she calls herself the Grande Dame. And because if you're going to do that at 60, to me, you have to, my grandmother used to say, you don't want to be an old fool. That's the worst type of fool to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
A young fool, okay, she's learning, she's cute, she's trying to figure it out. At 60, you don't get the same passes that you get at 20, at 30. 40, you're kind of getting it's slimming down. But at 60, you have to carry yourself a different way. And to me, for Karen to just completely make up, you could tell she was reaching. She's not quick because she's 60. You're not going to be able to be quick at the cuff with some of the other girls. That's just not who Karen is. I don't know if it's it's probably a combination of the age and her personality. She's not quick-witted. So for her to suggest that Juan is cheating on Robyn, which I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying it's not. But for her to suggest that Juan is cheating on Robyn with a woman and then describe herself.
That was a reach for sure. But the actual story is not far-fetched. And I think that it did like ruffle Robyn's feathers, because that is a very sensitive subject. This is the whole reason why Robyn fell out with Wendy, because Wendy called out her relationship. That's like the only thing that bothers Robyn. You could talk about her finances. Why? Because she's cleaned up her finances, right? You can talk. Well, no one talks about her. You can talk about her being up under Giselle. That doesn't really bother her, because I feel like she uses isolated moments to make herself likable outside of Giselle. So she has that sort of redeemable quality when she's, separated from her puppet master. Mm-hmm. The only thing that anyone can get that will get under Robyn's skin is anything that has to do with Juan, and that's because it registers with her.
Right.
The camera doesn't lie.
All of them, though. I will say this, and I want to play this little clip, and then, because I feel like that is a low blow. You know that they're struggling. You could tell by watching the interaction with Juan and Robyn. It's a struggle. However, to me, it's for Karen to suggest, it's not a far reach to suggest that something may be going on, but for her to suggest that Juan wants her, that it was just dumb. It was dumb as hell.
That was a reach. That was a reach. But I still thought that it was hilarious. So.
Oh no. I can't even watch that. I don't know if a 60-year-old should ever play that hand.
I agree. I don't think so either. But as Candace Dillard-Bassett said during last year's reunion, welcome to the stage. I don't think this is what they do on Housewives, right? Yes. So take age out of it, because if to me, if Karen is just going to sit there and play matriarch and play Grande Dame and give out motherly advice all day like Carolyn Manzo, then she doesn't need to be on the show.
No, but you can't be delusional though. Like I
don't see it as delusion. I see it as I actually do think Karen is quick and Karen is witty. Now, does it make sense? No. Like, people know that a lot of the stuff, like that whole moment, was a lie. But the truth is sprinkled somewhere in there, and I think that she's quick with her responses, and I don't think that she ever starts with anyone. I think what people, specifically you, Christal, I think you're overlooking the fact that Robyn has like a hard on for Karen. She starts stuff with Karen.
Well, you know what? Okay. Lynette says Karen is 59 and Giselle is 52. 60 is not old. Stop it. I'm not saying 60 is old. I'm not saying 60 is old at all. I'm saying that you play different games with the tools that you have, right? So I'm just suggesting that for Karen, and 59 is 60. I'm going to round that up. That's what that's what we're going to do. We're going to
So
round it
we
up.
learned in mathematics.
We're
Yes.
going to round it up to 60. And I'm definitely not saying I would have no place to come on this platform. And I'm not saying old is a bad thing. What I'm saying is, as we get to a particular age as women, we have to play a different game. And I think not coming down, it's like a senior coming down and playing in a sandbox. Like, I'm not going to do that with you. When Karen took Ashley aside and they're having this conversation, and she suggests that Juan is out holding hands, walking around with this woman that looks like her, right? Then she flips it in the conversation with the rest of the women and says the story about him at the reunion with the threesome, and then says it's her, and she says she was protecting. It's just too much of a reach, and it's not, to me, it wasn't even clever. It just was not clever. But I'm not saying, I agree. I'm not saying that 60 is old. I'm saying that
You're just saying there's a certain decorum that you should have at 60. That's
right, especially if you're going to be called the Grand Dame. And I also feel like, even if we're talking about just the way she presented it, I feel like Karen was scrambling because she was upset about Robyn. I don't necessarily think Robyn was coming for her. I don't think she has a hard on for her. I think that Karen gets away with a lot. And I think Robyn, I'm not used to Robyn actually standing up for herself. So even when they're having that conversation, Robyn just wouldn't back down. And I think that Karen is used to being able to say something. And I think the other ladies do give her a pass because she is, of a particular age, and there's a certain level of respect there. So I'm not saying that's a negative thing, but I can't give you that respect. And then you come back and try to use the fact that I'm trying to respect you to come back at me. So saying that Juan was cheating with a woman that looks just like you, and then going into saying that it is you, it's just, it is delusional. It did not read well. I think Karen needed to take more time, figure out what she was going to say. And again, she went at Robyn when really the issue is Charisse. Like, that's to me what I have an issue with.
She went at Robyn because Robyn interjected herself into the whole, well, why don't you like Charisse? Like, okay, Robyn, why? And then for Robyn to use all of these adjectives about how Karen was being so mean and she was being a mean girl. Like, Robyn, that is the pot calling the kettle black in your case, because you've been mean to Wendy for the past 2 seasons. So none of them are exempt from any of this. Like, they all...
Wendy, let's talk about that. Wendy and Robyn, I did not like those exchanges. However, I don't see either of them as a victim. Wendy can be very condescending. We saw that her first season, extremely condescending, which is hilarious because, first of all, I think Wendy is she's beautiful, she's extremely accomplished, she's hardworking. I feel like she's at this point in her life where she realizes that everything that she's worked so hard for, she doesn't really have the same passion. Wendy at this point in life wants to be a fun girl, right?
Wendy wants to have a hot mom summer, okay?
She is really just backtracking, right? And that's fine, because I think she's at the age where you kind of trying to figure out, did everything that I was told to do, doing everything the right way, I'm not fulfilled. And we see her going through that, like coming into herself, right? But in the meantime, Wendy was very condescending towards everybody else on the show. She threw her degrees. She walked in with like, I am able to be here because of this, and this. But obviously she had some self-esteem issues because she was constantly throwing that in people's face. And then, of course, she got her body done, and now she comes out, she's a lot more confident. She's a lot more slick. She just, she fit in. Tamika says she's Team Karen. You guys, I cannot believe y'all are Team Karen. And don't give Karen a pass just because she's 59.
I cannot believe you are Team Robyn in any of these situations. Robyn really irks my soul. Like,
why does Robyn irk your soul so much?
Well, for one, is she interjects herself into things that has nothing to do with her. I do understand that that's a part of the show, but there are situations like Robyn. To me, Robyn gives nothing. At this point, we've seen it all with Robyn, right? We already know her and Juan are where they are. If they get married, great. If they don't, great. At this point, we don't really care because this has been the situation since season 1.
Right.
Outside of that, what else has Robyn given us? They've been engaged for 3 seasons. They have this new house, but that's it. What is going on with her personal storyline? She's literally coasting. So she teams up with Giselle and she interjects herself into conversation and conflict. And then she gets upset when somebody like a Karen pops off, or someone like a Wendy pops off and tells her to shut up, know your place, and you don't even have a relationship to care about. Then she wants to play Robyn the Incredible Hulk. But where's this energy elsewhere where's this energy for Juan? The way Juan was cursing her out on that phone call.
Juan went in that, but I mean, she shouldn't have called him with that. You got to know your man. She should not have called him with that. But she called him with that because she was bothered.
She was bothered. She was embarrassed. He embarrassed her even further. That did not land well. As she said, I'm so happy Juan Dixon is not here right now, because he's never there. He's not going to show up at this reunion. He's showed up at 2 reunions? From what I've heard, she was supposed to be off the show season 6, but Monique didn't come back. So they had to scramble at the last minute to fill that spot. So they kept Robyn on. And now I feel like she's fighting for that spot to stay, and it's not landing.
But I mean, to me, Robyn and Giselle, because Giselle doesn't really have anything happening this season either.
She never has anything happening this season, but Giselle knows how to stay on the show and knows how to stay in the mix. And Giselle knows when to be quiet too. Once Karen told her, you're nowhere near an aisle or a ring or whatever she told her last night, Giselle, shut up.
Well, this is a clip of Karen saying, I don't like the fact that this is done on this show in particular. As Black women, we talk about the fact that we should not be judged. I mean, this whole idea of if you have a man, you're good, and if you don't, you're like, we perpetuate that. Then we act like men do it, but it really is us. Constantly throughout this season and other seasons of Real House of Potomac, people go at other people, oh, you don't even have a man. Like, it is, to me, is the wackest thing ever. And for grown women that are accomplished to use that as their dagger, it suggests that we're not as far as we think.
Yeah, I agree that it's a whack comeback, but it's also genius and the easiest comeback for someone like a Giselle or a Robyn when you're constantly criticizing someone else's relationship, or constantly have a negative opinion or an opinion at all about your co-star's relationship, where it's like,
but this wasn't even about a relationship. This is just, you shut up because I'm not even talking to you because you don't have a man. Hold on.
Speaking to you, thou without a man.
Oh, okay.
I can't. I cannot.
It is, I'm not speaking to you, thou without a man. Karen has hung on to Ray. And I get it. I admit that most people are team Karen, but I just feel like that behavior last night, child, Juan was not trying to have a threesome with you.
I agree. He wasn't.
And even if he is cheating with somebody, which everybody's man could be cheating, I'm sure Ray is doing what he's doing. Mia's husband, I don't know what the hell that is. Everybody's husband on this show, with the exception of Wendy's, possibly, because you never know what somebody is doing. It's just not giving like real relationships. It's giving like, this is a good look. Karen, I don't even know if her and Ray, but they've been together for so long, I guess it doesn't even matter. But I don't think that's like a real relationship. That you don't have. Marriott says that you don't have a man dig is the internalized misogyny that we as women need to address. Agreed. And this show in particular, that's the thing. It's like that old school, cultured, sophisticated, I'm better than you. And how do you know I'm better than you? Because I have a man and you don't. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and they need to stop. But
I think as an overall generalization that is ridiculous, but I think that there's special circumstances in which that literally is the case. Giselle is clearly miserable, and Giselle has vibed. No, Giselle wants a partner. The way that she, would come up with excuses as to why Jamal was around, and set up these scenes where he was supposed to show up for family photo shoots, and then his flight got delayed or he missed his flight, and then the reason that they broke up was due to the COVID pandemic. And it's like, you guys you didn't leave the man when he fathered other children, and you're going to break up with him because of the COVID pandemic, and you guys can't see each other on a weekly basis. None of it makes sense. She's cried on camera. The only time I've ever seen Giselle cry was in regards to her children and in regards to a situation with the man. She wants that, and I feel like she goes after women who because she does what Ashley does, but in a not so like obvious messy way. So, because Ashley has dealt with what she dealt with Michael, she just thinks that all men are like old white creeps, like her estranged husband is. Whereas Giselle is always looking for, a hole for her to fill about, well, maybe he's cheating, or maybe he's not doing what she wants to do, or saying that Wendy got, plastic surgery because Eddie was looking at Instagram models. Just stupid things like that.
I guess when I see Giselle, I definitely think that she wants I think most people, and there's nothing wrong with this, want
a companion.
Want a companion, want love in their life. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's not a dig. The dig is making it seem like you can't get one or you can't. Giselle is obviously everybody on this show would have no problem getting in a relationship. I feel like with Giselle, she wants a certain type. So I think she felt like it was a good look for her and Jamal, because Jamal is doing very well. He's here at Eddie Long's church here in Atlanta, New Birth, and he's getting a lot of attention. Giselle wants a specific type of man, just like Ashley. Ashley married someone that was old enough to be her father because he had money, and so even now we see her talking about, oh, we're looking at houses. It's a 5-bedroom house with this, and this. It's not really about getting a man. It's about having the right,
it's about the access and the status.
Yeah. So that's not really, to me, it's not that she really wants, I'm sure she wants love, but that's not what we see. What we see from her is she wants the right social look. She wants a man that's going to give her the status that she feels like she deserves. And she's probably not going to settle with someone else that doesn't, even if that person would genuinely love her. And I think that's
she's not going to get it, because no man of that stature wants someone on any of these reality shows. Unless you've already had a long-standing relationship like a Karen, who else? Like a Wendy.
Right.
Chris came up with what is her name? Candace on this show. So that, that's a little bit different. But that was from what we've seen on the show, that's like the reason that these men that she's dating, their relationships don't work. The guy that she was dating, Sherman, he didn't like being, his personal business being brought out on the show. Jamal never wanted anything to do with the show, just like he allegedly really never wanted anything to do with Giselle, because he was still sleeping with everything in New Birth, or whatever the name of the church is.
Right.
So she's not going to get that because of her behavior on this show.
Yeah. Well, at least not, like you said, at least not the type of man that she wants, because I mean, realistically, we have to be honest. You're a beautiful woman, but you are, and I know people are going to get upset, but it's true. You got to look at it. You're of a particular age. You have a certain thing that you want, and you really want a situation that's already made. Like, you really want someone to replace Jamal. You don't so that's a whole nother issue. I thought, what did you think about Giselle suggesting? I think all of them are lame as hell for continuing to act like each other's husband is hollering at them. I don't think Chris was actually trying to holler at Giselle. I thought that was lame for her to do. That whole, and I loved Candace this season, because as much as I didn't agree with a lot of her antics in previous seasons, but the way she handled this, Giselle saying that Chris was flirting with her and wanted her to come in the room and
she nipped that in the bud.
And with this other girl, I don't even know this girl's name, Ashley, Deborah, as Candace dubbed her, this Sesame Street character, deal with Sesame Street characters. I was like, you know what? That is exactly how a wife should handle it. I'm not going to allow you to bring some friend off the street that I know my husband wasn't trying to talk to and try to throw kinks in my marriage. I think it's lame as hell for all of them to keep doing that. Like, Chris wasn't, and the camera's showing he wasn't flirting with them. If he was going to flirt with
love production this season. They have done an amazing job.
Absolutely. And even with Giselle, like, realistically, why would Chris try to flirt with Giselle? Like, he would know. He knows the women on this show can't wait to go back
to use it. It's right. And that's what I'm saying. But that's what I mean about Giselle. That Giselle, she always has something to say about someone's man. Now, this season is that Chris made her uncomfortable. Although she said he never verbally said anything to her or never made her physically uncomfortable. She said the optics of the situation made it uncomfortable. But she was the one who invited him back to her room to have the conversation. They could have had the conversation on aside on the stage somewhere, off stage somewhere. They didn't have to go back to her room. That's just Giselle looking for a moment. Just like last season, it was that, oh, Chris is writing your coattails, Candace. So you need to watch that because you need a man who wants to be your man and not your manager. Now he has a job. So her new thing is Chris is cheating with everybody at the hotel. Okay.
Yeah, it's giving desperate. Miss April says she's what Sir Kitten Hill's she's gonna have to settle. Yeah, I also agree with Jade. Giselle doesn't get vulnerable. I actually don't even remember her crying over that because I think last season the ladies said that she doesn't seem, even when people brought receipts, when everybody brought the receipts, when the receipts on Jamal, she just sat there. It's like she didn't respond. She had no quick witty things to say. She's just like a wall. Like but I think with her, it really is about the look more than it is about the feel. Even the relationships with the women, I don't really feel like. Do you feel like her and Robyn are actually really good friends?
No, I don't. I can see them falling out in the next few seasons. Again, because once if Robyn wants to continue on with her roommate or whatever Juan is, at some point I feel like Juan is probably going to get tired of Giselle because Robyn is in most of the mess that she's in because she aligns herself with Giselle.
True. That's true.
And he yelled to her on that phone last night, don't let these women, mess up what we done built and what we done worked for, Robyn.
Right.
Like, oh, I know.
Now, I do feel that conversation, I do feel like I didn't realize that they had been together since they were like in high school.
Like 15 and 16, yes.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. So I can understand why he's not really, and he's a former athlete that wasn't able to get to the level of success that he wanted. He probably doesn't want to be around this show. This season, especially with her asking him for a prenup, like if I was Juan, I wouldn't want to be here either. You know what I mean? And then for Karen to say it's too much. I don't necessarily know if their relationship is where Robyn is suggesting it is. But
no, I think that Robyn is just okay. I think that she perpetuates something else to the public, but I think privately she accepts where they are. I don't think that she wants to move on. Even dating, she's never tried anything else besides Juan. Juan done had other relationships.
Yeah.
He's done public interviews with freaking Sports Illustrated, saying that he was in love with another woman that he had dated at the time. Producers have caught him on hot mic moments, saying that he's basically sick of this sugar honey iced tea, and if it weren't for those two boys, that he would be here with her. And Robyn always makes up an excuse for, well, he said that because the romanticism is lacking in our marriage, or because he wants more from me. No, he's saying that because that's how he feels.
That's how he feels. Yeah.
They're both settling, in my opinion, for each other. And it's like, okay, if that's what you're going to do, then that's what you're going to do. A lot of women do that when they get to a certain age. I feel like there's two sides of how women act when they get to 35 plus. 35 is not old. I'm just saying that you're getting a little older.
Yeah.
And you're realizing, and you're realizing like, hey, I don't have, I'm still young. I don't want to continue to waste my time. So let me go out and fly like a bird and do my own thing. Or they're like, well, I've been with this man all this time. I don't want to start over. I have 2 children with him already. I know him already. The devil is better than the one that you don't. So let me just deal with what I have to deal with him and be unhappy and miserable and just waste the rest of my life.
And probably a little bit afraid or intimidated to try something different, because when you guys got together, you were the bee's knees. Life has continued to life, and there are a lot of other, it's just a different type of competition out there, and you may not get what you think you're going to get, right?
I agree, but it's just like, as a woman, I just feel like you should try.
I think you have to, but I think you have to have a very strong sense of self to do that. I think a lot of self-confidence and a lot of self-work. And I don't think you get a chance to really build that when you're on this type of show, because people are saying things like, oh, you don't have a man, your man is cheating. So I think in order to get that, she probably is going to have to get away from this for a while. I think if Robyn was off the television and she could really focus on how she feels, because right now she's got to keep up the appearance. They've got to keep up. Even if her and Juan didn't even want to be together at all, that's got to be a storyline. You've got to explain what the hell happened. what happened. Just like she's been embarrassed by it before. I want to take a quick pivot because we've been talking about, you guys are team Karen. I am still going to be team Robyn because I just feel like Karen was just on some BS this entire time. I don't feel like Charisse has done anything to her that is different than other people. I feel like she just doesn't want another person of her caliber on the cast. She wants to hold that grand dame seat. So she doesn't want Charisse around. But slight pivot because we got to talk about Mia and Wendy. What the hell? Thank you, Alexis. I got one team Robyn. One team Robyn against all you other 60.
Oh God.
Alexis, I mess with you today. You guys, make sure you put a like in the chat. Go ahead and put your hashtag team whoever. We're cool. This is an open forum. Sisters discussing. We love both the ladies, but I'm good on Karen.
No, we don't. We do not love both of the ladies.
I'm good on Karen for today.
Do not speak for me, Christal. No.
well, Brenda is petty.
I told you that I don't like Robyn at all. And I think that if she would have given herself a chance and tried something outside of Juan, then maybe she would be a happier person.
Okay, so maybe we'll see her do that in the future. But let's pivot to Mia. Let's pivot to Mia and Wendy. Where are we at? Where are you at with Mia and Wendy? Do you agree in that argument that they had where Mia threw the drink? That's where this all stems from, that we got to them last night having a girl on girl damn near moment. But it stemmed from the conversation that they had where Wendy suggested that people have strong opinions on on Mia. Wendy suggested that Mia and her husband have threesomes with both men and women. So Mia's response was to throw her drink in Wendy's face, which we see that behavior on Housewives all the time. Brenda, where do you sit on that in that agreement? Who are you? Were you team Wendy or team Mia?
I'm definitely team Wendy. I do not like when people cannot control themselves physically because of what someone has said to them verbally. Right. And that was one of the things that I agreed with last season. Even though I think that Candace can go too far sometimes with her mouth, but when she said to Andy Cohen last year at the reunion, when she was confronted about her basically being in the middle of all of these physical altercations or close to like brawls, or like her having all of these verbal spats with her co-stars, she specifically said, well, you cannot get mad at me because I can orate better than the rest of you. I 100% agreed with that, because you cannot say what you want to say to me and then get mad with if what I say is delivered better and hurts you more than what you said to me. This is love and war. And like she said, she doesn't start it. The whole argument started with Wendy and Mia due to Mia interjecting herself into a business deal that had to do with Peter Thomas and Wendy. Had nothing to do with her.
Agreed. I agree with that.
Wendy said, to me, nothing ever warrants someone to physically get a drink thrown in their face.
Right.
Like, if I don't put my hands on you, you don't put your hands on me. And I don't like when people can't, like, you can't take an argument. So you're like a 2-year-old and you decide to like basically hit me or throw a tantrum. Like, no, that's not how this works. Mia started that whole fight with Wendy. With Wendy. There was nothing that Wendy said that warranted her to get a drink thrown in her face. You cannot excuse that.
I agree. I think that no one should be able to throw drinks. If you throw a drink to me, there should be some penalty for that, because you're right. You're not able to control your physicality. And it really is about the fact that Wendy has a lot more words. Now, saying she could be very condescending and needs to be checked sometimes. Everybody does on that show, but you don't react in a physical way. Mia obviously does not have the same ability to do that. She can't come back. No. She's not quick like that as far as, being able to have a broad vocabulary.
That's the problem. Wendy very much gives Phaedra Parks. She has a very broad vocabulary. She's like a walking Webster's dictionary. And the fact that she was able to restrain herself twice, you threw a drink at me, and then you hit me with your purse. And I'm still only using my words to get at you. That says something to me about Wendy. I'm team Wendy.
I'm I'm definitely in that argument. I agree. Wendy did the right thing. I think Wendy, and I like Wendy a lot. I'm interested. Mia is great for TV. Um, and you know what you're going to get with her. I don't feel like, I think she's going to do whatever she can to ruffle anyone's feathers to keep herself locked in that show. She has no type of like, there's no rhyme or reason to how she decides to go after people, right? Even with her own friend, that's really weird. What's happening? I'm not really sure. Obviously, this is a friendship that's deeper than just platonic friends. It's just very strange, but it's great for TV. She's very entertaining. But she doesn't have anything to lose. I think that's the best thing that Wendy said. Mia has nothing to lose. I guess they own these joint chiropractic centers, but her behavior,
which are now like in jeopardy or something, because she put that post online saying that I was about to call that man Peter. What is his name? G's brother was like handling the business affairs. He had him as like the overall manager, and he basically asked Mia out. So she's doing what she needs to do to secure her check. And I think that you're right. What you see from Mia is what you get, which is you're going to get a lot of lies and a lot of BS.
Mm-hmm. Actually, she doesn't even give me anything else. What I was surprised by is the fact that Wendy seems pressed to want to like interact with her.
Oh, yeah, no. Reconcile.
Yeah, she just seemed really pressed. And I feel like I said a minute ago, Wendy is that girl that did all the right things, always got good grades, super overachiever, epitome of the alpha female. And then she realized, wait a minute, I want to have fun. I want to do the same thing. So
I want to have friends.
Yeah, like even with her like constantly dressing and showing her body last season, every time she showed up, her titties were out or something. It's like she's living like a 20-year-old now at her age now, because she feels like she probably missed out on something. So when she went to Mia's room last night, Mia is very clear. She is all sex and games, right? When she opened that door and she was like, "Where should we sit?" I was like, this is going to go a different way. So I was not surprised to hear in the clips for next week that there was some type of, I don't know. Mia suggested Wendy showed her kitty cat, but I just, you could feel that energy was there, and I think Mia is kind of curious, honestly, because that's the energy that I get from her. I get that.
Like, basically, what we're going to find out is the whole reason for the drink toss is that there's pent up sexual energy or something, which is crazy. What a twist and turn of events. But outside of that, I feel as if Wendy, like you said, because she feels as if she's missed out on something, and she came into the group like with such an astute attitude and with such a like an attitude of, I earned my spot on this show because of my career accomplishments and not because of who I married. Mm-hmm. That didn't sit well with the rest of the group, whether it was true or not, right? But at the end of the day, no one wants to feel isolated. And I feel like outside of Candace, Wendy feels very much isolated. So she's trying to figure out her way and like basically how to move and operate within the group. Because if not, like they're basically controlling how much she films. If they don't invite her to events, if they're ignoring her when she's at group dinners, she has to figure out how to stay on the show, and I guess how to at least be cordial with the women.
I think she was, I'm not buying that. I think she has a great storyline. I mean, she actually has a lot of substance. I am enjoying seeing this. Her and her mother is interesting, but I think that's a storyline that a lot of women can relate to. She's working so much. She's doing so. I mean, why are you trying to do candles and open a restaurant and you have all this other stuff going on? You have her children are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, you're a mom, you're a wife, you're a political commentator, you're a professor.
Yeah, you're a CNN commentator. Like it's giving too much. Like you aren't happy with yourself, and this show probably puts a spotlight on it. But I don't think that I think she's just not happy, and that's why she's going after the other women, because even if she's not invited to them, I don't think she has an issue necessarily with the other women. She probably doesn't relate to them because she has so much going on. She's been that, that overachiever, and I don't think the rest of them necessarily have been. The rest of them have been focused on, being the socialite. She's actually been doing the work. So that's actually respectable, but it's damn near like she's trying to throw that all away and come down to that level. So for her to be flirtatious with Mia, I mean, it's all fun and games, but I don't know if it's gonna bode well for her in the long run, because Mia will blow up her own spot and be cool. Like, she's just not, even though she's a mother, which is weird, she's just very she doesn't have anything to lose. She acknowledges she was a stripper. She may still be a stripper. I don't know. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but her background and Wendy's background are totally different. They really wouldn't even be in the same circle at all. It's really strange that they are. But to see Wendy be affected more by Mia, that's interesting. That's really interesting. And I don't think it's for the show. I think Wendy's a strong enough personality. I don't think
it is interesting, but I think that goes back to her wanting to be liked. She definitely doesn't care about having any type of relationship with Giselle, because she knows that Giselle, because she knows that Giselle was the whole mastermind behind the whole, Eddie rumors.
Right.
She's trying to salvage her relationship with Robyn, which is like, why? Because Robyn plays coy into Giselle's madness. Robyn knew exactly what Giselle was doing, which is why Wendy called her out like, Robyn, don't play with me, because you gave me a heads up that this was going to be part of the storyline. So I think that she wants to be liked. It's like, okay, well, if I'm out, I'm already out with Giselle. Now I'm out with Giselle and Robyn. Now I'm out with Giselle, Robyn, and Mia. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And I have to film with them 8 months out of 12 months a year. Like, she still has to figure out how to survive on this show, and it's better to go along with the get along, at least to be, like I said, to be cordial. You guys don't have to be friends, but she cannot be fully X'd out of the group. The show, she's not going to last on the show if she does that.
I don't think
that's why she goes back and apologizes for being, okay, well, I apologize for, antagonizing the fight even further. There was no reason why Wendy should have apologized. You had a drink thrown in your face, and a clutch purse hit you in your head, and then 3 of the other women across from you are sitting there recording and laughing about the situation. There was no reason for her to apologize.
Yeah, and we did this already. Like, we did when they went out that night. There was that where she kind of, it's like she really, really wanted, and I get it, she wanted Mia, but Mia is not that. That's not her energy. She's not logical, so she's not going to. You can't have a conversation with her and appeal to her logic. That's not going to happen. So someone said, I don't think that Wendy would do anything with Mia. I disagree. I think Mia,
surprised what people will do. So
yeah, I think Mia exudes sexual energy at all. Like, that's all she talks about. It's all Mia and Ashley, honestly. Ashley is constant sexual energy. So Mia is very clear about who she is. It's not.
I feel like anyone who can sleep with, I apologize if women like older men like that, but anyone who can lay on their back for a man that's old enough to be your grandfather, I just feel like you're kind of down to try anything, because you're laying on your back to sustain your lifestyle for the most part. So it's like you look for your sexual pleasure elsewhere.
Yeah. I think maybe she's not even in touch with that, because she talks a lot about that scene with her and her friend Jacqueline and her husband was really weird.
So uncomfortable.
They kept saying, well, where should I sit? Well,
I sit in the middle. Gee, do you want to be here? No, I'm not even letting someone like that. No, it just was all weird.
It was it just suggested that Mia probably likes women more than men. Because
I agree. And that is why, even though Wendy was on BS when she was like, wow, when she twisted the words, when she was like, well, how do you know that I didn't call G gay? How do you know that I didn't mean that he was watching you with another man? It's like, no, we know he's not doing that. She's not with other men. She's with other women.
Right. And Wendy should have just owned that. I was just like, girl, stop trying to backtrack. Stop trying to backpedal.
Yeah, that's her being a wordsmith. That's her using her intelligence to stump them up. And she does it every time. That's why they can't stand her, because they cannot hold their own against her.
I think, well, I'm trying to think out of everybody. I mean, everybody is equally matched in a weird way. You got to know when you're going toe to toe with Mia, she doesn't have anything to lose. She's going to. So if you're going to do that,
yeah, she's going to go below the belt. You know, she's going to take it all the way.
She's going to take it all the way because there's no CNN job that's going to let her go. There's no, there's nothing like that. Now with the chiropractic, which I was like, that's weird because she doesn't even seem like she fits that.
Yeah, I think she just was handling the operations of that whole business because her husband is older, so he probably like showed her the ropes and she took over the reins.
That's a whole transactional.
I mean, he's clearly a freak. Like the way he was trying to get at Karen last season, like that's like I feel like that's a step away from like Me Too. Like we can all be flirts. Do not stick your tongue out at me, and my husband is standing right here. Like they just have no limits. Like
I think he may have wanted Karen to be the third person in there. I think they'll sleep with anybody. They will sleep with the whole cast. I don't think Juan wants to sleep with Karen, but I do think that G wants Karen, Giselle, everybody else.
She will do a whole orgy with the whole cast. Like it's
absolutely. And Mia would love it. Like it's so funny because on last night's episode, when she's talking to Wendy, she was like, I like you because you're pretty. I was like, this is gonna be.
She loves you. Like she was letting her know what was up.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna take it someplace. And then Wendy is like, oh wow, she does want to be liked and she wants to be accepted in this other world. I just hope that she didn't, Yeah,
I feel like Wendy, like you said, like she has more confidence now. So I feel like Wendy has always been beautiful and that she's always been smart, but not to a standard that she believes is probably the most beautiful. She's first gen Nigerian American. We don't know like what type of colorism and things that she's dealt with, what she's hinted at. So it's like, oh, the pretty crew doesn't like me. Mm-hmm. How do I get in, with them? That's what I feel like she's having some type of, crisis, like an identity crisis since being on this show, which she's kind of admitted to, but I think it's a lot deeper than, we've touched.
No, absolutely. And I think, you guys know I'm doing this conversation for my new book, Dear Alpha Female. I think Wendy is the perfect example of that because she has everything, right? And she's got
it's not enough for her.
Not enough, and it's because it's internal. It's coming from inside. It's not outside. You got your body done. You have and it's still not. You're still wanting validation from outside. Also, watching her deal with her kidney stones and the fact that she would not slow down to get herself help. Like we can kiki and laugh and all this stuff is funny, but what isn't funny is the fact that self-care is last on our list, but getting our body done is first. So as women, we really have to love each other and also be accountable for when we are not taking care of ourselves the right way. So the fact that we can't make time to go to take care of our body and make sure our health is okay, but we're super worried about the superficiality and fitting in, like that's dangerous. And I think that's something that Wendy is not the only person that deals with that. A lot of people do. And I think this is just an opportunity for other women that are working at that level to see that self-care, it really is more important than a lot of times we're prioritizing it as. Mia is definitely good for the show. I'm reading the comments. I think Wendy should bow out. She's better than this. She's not, because Wendy wants this type of validation. Like, even though she has accomplished everything else, she really wants this type of validation. And a lot of this goes back to the relationship between her and her mom. Her mother wanted her to be this, and she basically instilled this in her. And a lot of Black women have this.
She did what she wanted her mom to do. What her mom wanted her to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know what's going to happen. I definitely know I'm going to be tuned in and tweeting for the next episode. And then this reunion I'm hearing is off the chain, even in the way that everybody is spaced out and sitting. I'm just going to say before we
what tea have you heard about the reunion though? Because I haven't heard anything. I only saw the seating chart. Like normally like I'll check like reality blurb or reality tea or something to see if anything has been leaked about the reunion. And for the last like 2 seasons of Potomac, nothing like that has been leaked.
Right. Well, okay, my bad. A text just came in. I've just heard that it's off the chain. We definitely we saw people produce the seating chart, but I think when I was hearing that, I didn't realize all this had happened leading up to it. So I'm assuming there's going to be some issues. This is like a point of no return with Karen and Robin. At the point that Karen has suggested that she suggested Ron wanted a threesome, but it's almost like she's suggesting that she's been protecting him this whole time. There's more to that. That's not going to go away. They're not going to be able to wrap that up.
Yeah, no, Robin. I mean, we know Robin doesn't forgive when it comes to people making comments about her and Juan, which is why she's still on the outs with Wendy.
I can't blame her for that. I wouldn't, if you say all of this situation, I'm good with Candace. Candace is playing it right to me with just, keeping Giselle at arm's length.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Candace understands how to still be cordial, even with Ashley. Like, as much as her and Ashley have fault, she's still like, look, we have to be in this group. Like, I don't necessarily have a problem with you, but you're not my cup of tea type of thing. Wendy hasn't mastered that yet, and I think she's trying to.
I think Wendy is not. Wendy is not the same type of woman. So she's not. She's genuine in one way, but she's needy in another way. And they just are, they understand the game more. I think that she can, I'm not going to say that I see her as Phaedra, because Phaedra was like on some BS. And I think Phaedra was full of it. She would lie. I don't think Wendy's a liar. I think Wendy is just trying so hard to be something that she's not, that she's going to trip herself up. If she realized she was good enough, she's actually on a whole nother level, if she'll just be herself. She just isn't in touch with that yet.
I think if she would have just like toned down the 4 degree like speech, second season,
even insecure in this area, it's like,
even with getting her body done, like we've seen it on Atlanta. Like, Phaedra was smart and accomplished, but she fell short with Apollo, and she ended up getting her body done. I don't think that it has anything to do with that. I just think
it's not about getting your body done. It's when Wendy pushes things in everybody's face. So at first she hit everybody over the head with the fact that she has degrees. She wrote a book. I've written a book. I've done this. I've done that. Then when she got her body done, it was all about that. Like, it was just, to me, it's like, if you're confident,
it's overkill.
It's overkill. You're doing too much. And that also shows other people that are street savvy and not book savvy, oh, that's your weakness. So I know how to pounce on that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. But that's what Karen told her. Remember, she kept badgering Karen about her having 4 degrees. And Karen is like, listen, I may not have a college degree, but I have common sense.
Right. So, and she checked her and she relaxed, because really it's the fact that Wendy is she's trying to insert herself in the group and show dominance by what she has, because most of these women don't have an understanding of how to come in and just actually be cool. It's like, I got to have one up on you in order to feel comfortable. And so that's the problem.
And she came in so late in the game. What did she come in, season 5? You know what I mean? Like, you can't come into an ensemble cast like that. Like, you can come in swinging, but you got to know which way to swing.
You got to know which way to swing. I do think she came in thinking that everybody was going to like her because of all her degrees and all this other stuff. And it was just like, girl, we don't care about that.
But what's crazy though? I think they did in the beginning until she used it.
Kept going on and on about it.
Yeah. Because Giselle always is hazing like the newbies. Like, Giselle hated Monique because my name is Monique and I have 4 homes. That's how she interpreted what Monique said. Literally, she did not have a problem with Wendy coming in and saying, my name is Dr. Wendy Osefo and I have 4 degrees. She didn't have a problem with that. It wasn't until Wendy got her together about, her family that things went south.
Yeah. Well, I just hope that, I'm interested to see this. This reunion is going to be definitely one for the books. I did not see this coming. Next week's episode, something happened. Of course, Mia's going to flip it to make it seem like Wendy wanted her to look at her vagina. It was just weird. But I feel like Mia she has that type of energy to where when you're one-on-one in her, she's going to try you. She's going to try you. Her and her friend, I don't know. Are they trying to give this girl a champagne flute, Jacqueline? Like, I'm over their arguments. Like, it's not even.
I don't know if they'll give her a champagne flute next season, because I feel like past the halfway mark of the season and they've already filmed the reunion and
Yeah.
they still haven't even delved into like the actual issue between the two of them. I do think that is worth exploring. Like they spent 6 episodes on the Chris debacle and then whatever else, and it's like that's what I want to know, like what the heck is going on between Mia and Jacqueline. Like,
yeah, well, I think they're even with the Porsche and her saying Mia suggested. She's not great with words, but she knows how to suggest.
She knows how to put things out there for people to
yes. Pick up. She knows how to
that's why when she said the Nene line, close your legs to married men, that's why Jacqueline got upset, because she's like, oh, all these people have been thinking that we're doing rendezvous with your husband, and then you say something like that, and Mia was like, no, I didn't mean it in pertaining to that. It's like, yes, you did.
Yeah, they did. And I mean, they've been clear. Mia's been clear that they have threesomes anyway. Mm-hmm. She's also been clear that anytime
that she has funded her friend's lifestyle at times. So it's like, of course, something has happened.
Come on. And then y'all are taking a shower together on a trip.
It's so weird.
With the window in front of the window, like that's on purpose. It's over the top. Tyra said you like Jacqueline. She's a good friend to the show because she's giving it all. She's putting it all on the table. She's crying. Her and me
crying. She's been crying since they landed in Mexico. Yeah. Every time you turn around, she has the sunglasses on with, like, you can tell she just finished crying or she starts crying.
And then Mia, I'm not gonna lie, Mia is funny as hell. Mia's like,
she's like, she does this all the time. This is why no one in my other friend groups deals with her. It's like, what?
It's funny. It's funny. It's sad, but it's funny. So, Brenda, I appreciate you joining me. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. We're all talking about this. The only thing we did not touch on was the fact that Robyn finally produced pictures on her phone of this blue-eyed guy that Karen is supposed to be dealing with. And then also was said that Karen went to, Charisse suggested that Karen went to rehab. I don't doubt any of that, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think anyone would be shocked.
I'm sure that Karen is having an affair because the way that she reacted when that was brought out on the reunion a few seasons ago, she was so bothered and it was weird. And even her and Ray, like the whole relationship, you could tell Karen feels like she's hot stuff.
Yeah, and she's thrown little hints in there, like, Ray said that I can look or I can have friends, and I feel like she's hinted to it, but she's not going to confirm it because I feel like that's one level in her life where she feels like she has to have a certain level of decorum publicly. Mm-hmm. But I don't think any of us would be shocked. Like, isn't Ray like 27 years older than her, and things probably are not working the way that they once were? That doesn't mean that she's going to leave Ray. She's not leaving Ray.
She's never
leaving Ray. No, like when Ray, like when they were having like their rough patch because Ray basically wasn't used to Karen like bringing in that type of income and basically not catering to him. Like, she was devastated. Like, she was genuinely hurt when Ray was like, he didn't know if he was in love with her anymore. Like, he loved her and he wanted to be with her, but their romance died. Like, she did what she needed. She worked to get back to a certain point with Ray and to make him feel important and to make him feel included. She's not leaving him, but she's also like, listen, I'm still young enough to where like I can get it popping. So, and Ray can't do that.
He's not. Yeah. And I also think Karen is of that ilk that believes the husband that makes me valid. That's the validation that I need. She's not going to want to be the woman that doesn't have a husband, but she's also, I don't think, terribly happy one-on-one. Even in her, I don't know what the hell that variety show was. I know all y'all team Karens. I don't know.
I don't know what that was.
Yes, that variety show. I don't know what the hell that was. Karen does a lot of stuff that really makes no sense, but we all support it because I think people give her respect because she's older, but it'd be on some BS. So yes, we know she's cheating. I'm not shocked that she would have went to rehab. I don't think that was a lie either. But
yeah, but I don't think that she went to rehab. Like, that's another thing. First of all, I thought that was a low blow. I don't think you bring up someone's like alleged rehab stint. Like, you could talk about what's shown on the show, like the husbands and all of that stuff. Okay, that's fair game. But like, to bring up someone's like addiction or like mental health issues, I don't think it's cool. And I also don't think that Karen went to rehab because she was like drinking herself to death. I think she went to rehab because her parents died like within 2 years of each other, and she probably was drinking a little bit more and needed to like regroup. But I don't think she was like out of control. That would have leaked. stuff like that on Housewives.
Yeah, I think there are probably people
went to like a wellness center, like where they,
yeah.
you know.
But even with her and the guy, I think a lot of people knew because Robyn said Giselle sent the picture to her. They've had that. I think there's a certain level of like, okay, we're not going to take it here. That everybody on the cast had, most casts, even Atlanta, because we all know people were talking about Phaedra cheating and doing and Portia. But at certain levels, they won't go past on camera. At this point, all bets are off with Robyn because she's hurt. And so that's why she pulled out the picture of the blue-eyed guy. But I'm sure all the Real Housewives of Potomac fans know that was going on. As far as the rehab, once you hit below the belt, you got to know people are going to do that. I just think that Karen,
the person who needs rehab is Charisse. The way she looks disheveled with those wigs and the champagne room that she built in that house. Like, girl, you're the one that needs the rehab. Walking out looks all swollen.
I'm gonna say this: there are a lot of bad wigs on this entire season. A lot of bad wigs. A lot of bad tracks showing.
The wigs, like Charisse looks a mess. The wigs, the makeup.
I don't like Giselle's wig.
It's like if I'm going to wear a full face of makeup in the wig, like I'm going to do it. Like if I don't feel like it, I'm not.
I don't like.
We never like anything Giselle wears on her head or on her body. So whatever.
Giselle or Robyn.
Oh please, Robyn is just like. Never mind. I'm not going to do that.
I'm still out of this because of this conversation, because of last night's episode. I'm riding with Robyn because I just feel like Karen. Nobody pulls Karen's card, and
you ride on along with Robyn.
I'm riding, and I'm not saying that reasonably shady. I'm definitely not somebody that listens to the Reasonably Shady podcast, but I would listen to it 8 times over before I would sit through that variety show that Karen put on the other day. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Thanks, Miss J. One more Team Robyn in the mess of this. Charisse, I don't know.
You're still like far outnumbered.
I know. We are. Charisse is not even really a factor because she's not really a full.
I was just offended when she brought up the fact that Karen allegedly went to rehab. It's like, Charisse, have you seen yourself? Like, her eyes are always hazy. Like, you know how like when older women drink, you have like if your mom is like a lush or like your aunt is like a lush, like I'm like a young lush myself. So like I get it. Like I'm a wino. So like she just has like the drunk like soccer mom look. Like her eyes are always
Didn't Charisse go through a divorce? Didn't she?
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah, I'm saying she's
like her dress. She wears like wedge heels all the time. Like, it's just she has that look.
I feel for Charisse and Karen because I do feel like after a certain women of a particular age, it's just not going to give the same thing. You guys go to the beach. Ashley is walking around.
You don't have to give I get what you're saying. You're talking about like the look of things.
The look of things. So I'm saying she's not going to be it's just not going to look like
she should look like she cares.
I think she does. I think it's just
some box braids and put it in a bun or like wear it down. Like, where are you getting these wigs from? And Charisse has money.
She does.
Like, now I get it. Like I feel like we learned from what's that one franchise, New York. Like I learned from New York, from watching New York, from living in New York, from working in New York, like what real wealth looks like. Like you don't see it. But you should care though. Like
I agree. I think when I look at
TV too.
I feel sad for her. I feel like she's older, she's divorced, and she's not, in the same shape as some of the other ladies. It just doesn't give the same on camera.
I don't feel sad for people who behave that way. I don't like.
We all behave that way though.
I care. I have empathy for people, but no, like, okay, if you want to come on this show and act a fool and then you look a fool, you have to pick one.
We're gonna see what happens. I don't think Charisse is going to be added, but I think Karen is being a bully and not being.
Charisse is giving very much like the older version of Katie Ross. Like, remember Katie came back on the show with those wigs? And like random, like if they would go to dinner and she would have on like a random beach smock, like, girl, what are you wearing? And she always looked high or drunk, like in the middle of the day. That's what Charisse gives me. Like, her makeup is off, the wigs, the eyes, just everything. And it's just like, go get yourself together before you come in, like, talk about everybody on, or come for Karen. Like, okay, Karen has had like Karen has had like some fashion nose, but for the most part, Karen looks great. She keeps it.
I would give it to her, especially for 59. Karen.
Yeah, Karen is out here killing it. Remember they used to call her Tina Knowles?
Yeah,
she's giving Tina Knowles tease.
She is.
What the heck Charisse is giving?
I want Charisse to get us. I think everybody except for Ashley and Candace. I mean,
Ashley clearly got a black stylist this season because Ashley has really stepped it up. Ever since Ashley filed for divorce from that decrepit old white man, she's really started to embrace the black side of her biracialness. Yeah. Her hair is better. Her clothes, she's giving a lot.
This on TikTok all the time.
Yeah, and she actually has rhythm. She doesn't do the best choreography, but she can pop. She can do a 4 count. But Ashley looks great. Candace looks great. Karen looks great. I didn't like Wendy's style last season because I felt like you said, like, it was too much. Like, I'm all for sexy, like specifically when I'm on vacation. I do the most. For the most part, if I'm just home, like, I'm just walking around and like, tights and a t-shirt. Like today, I'm just like, oh, it's 12. Like,
y'all are cracking me. People are agreeing with you. Tyra says Charisse drinks like a fish. They are.
But she looks like she drinks like a fish. I have no problem with. I told girl, you've hung out with me. You know that I can down some wine all day and be good. I can do an interview. I can write 7 articles after I done had 3 glasses of wine. Charisse,
but you don't look like it,
girl. Charisse.
But see, I guess I feel empathy for her because, number one, I'm more of a particular age, and I feel like it's got to be rough to go through a divorce and the dissolution of your family on the show. Yes, I understand, because somebody was like, she was mean. Idella says Charisse was mean, snobby, and insufferable. They all are mean, snobby, and insufferable. Every single cast member on that show fits that description.
Yes, that's why I prefaced our conversation with saying I don't stand for any reality star, because I promise by like seasons 2, 3, or 4, my whole opinion of them will change.
Yeah, and I feel like on reality, especially Real Housewives, what is rewarded is being bitchy and being a bully. And so that behavior, and we've seen it on other seasons with other casts, that black, white, whoever, Italian, that behavior is always rewarded. So everybody on here is mean, snobby, and insufferable. The problem is, y'all say she be slurring. You know what? I'm not going to play these games on a Monday afternoon. I'm not going to play these games on a Monday afternoon with y'all about.
Because it's like, once you notice, like, what scene this season specifically have you not seen Charisse like with these characteristics?
Every time I see, like, even when they were out shopping and she put on a hat and was like, I was like, she just doesn't feel good. I don't think she feels good.
She looks off, or she feels like she doesn't have to do anything. Like, she just has this air about her that is off-putting for me. I could actually really like, I like Charisse more, and I don't want it to sound like this because it's kind of like, I hate when people say like, I like Mary J. Blige when she's better heartbroken, but Charisse was more relatable when she was going through her divorce, and even when she went on Ayanla, like, I was empathetic then, and I thought that we were going to see like a good progression of her. I thought we were going to see like a Portia Williams story, not Portia that.
Now Portia.
Wait, no, not Portia that stole her co-star's husband or whatever. I'm talking about when Portia and Cordell, when Cordell did her dirty. That's what I mean. Like, when she got her job on Dish Nation, like, when she when she gained a level of independence, and you know, she was still endearing.
But Brenda, can I suggest that it's a lot easier to have a public glow up when you are in your early 30s and look like Portia?
I think that when we watch these reality shows, we root for that. Because Charisse,
for young and a lot of times
I don't think it has anything to do with age.
I think it does. I mean, because think about it.
Nene wasn't 20 in her 20s or 30s when she divorced Greg the first time and she got on Disney and all of that. You know, she was doing her thing.
I wasn't rooting for her, but that's because Nene has always been mean and just that's a whole nother thing. But I
understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying the age thing, or even
I'm saying she can't rebound the same. Portia, when she went through that divorce, a lot of times, again, we've already acknowledged a lot of these tropes are set in what is acceptable. So if I have a man, that means that I have validation. And so trust and believe it's a lot easier to rebound from divorce when you are in your early 30s and look like Portia. And I'm not saying Charisse is not a beautiful woman, but it's just a very different space. Very different space. I mean, she was a part of this fabric of DC cultural society, and she is now divorced. She's not gonna rebound the same.
I think there's a spin you could put on that. There's no reason why she couldn't have got her life together and been like, you know, because she's like of the age group. She's like in the Nia Longs and the Taraji's age group. She's in like her early 50s. I'm not saying they have anything in common. I'm saying she's in that age group. And look, she's in that age group though.
No, I'm pulling up Charisse's age now because Charisse, if Charisse is anywhere near Nia Long's age,
Nia Long is like 52, isn't she? Nia Long age. Nia Long is 52. I was right. Charisse Jackson Jordan age. She's 57. She's 57. That's the same age group.
No, it's not. No. 52. Like somebody said, Giselle is 52. Giselle and Karen. Did you hear Giselle say, why am I a part of this geriatric?
Well, your neck shows that you're geriatric.
You know,
it does. And the fact that she wears wigs with no parts.
Brenda.
Because these people get on my nerves. Like, you cannot come on these shows and be mean like this and then expect people to be super nice to you. No.
I agree. I get what you're saying.
I'm sorry that Marion thinks that I'm a little harsh. I feel like I'm being nice to Charisse. I said that I was rooting for her to be better, like to you know,
I was rooting for you.
I was, and she's coming on here being mean and starting stuff. I understand that she has gone through a lot. No one is exempt from pain.
No one is exempt from pain.
I'm pretty sure Christal is going through some stuff right now. I'm going through stuff right now. That doesn't give us an excuse to come on here and be mean, and then at the same time we're being mean and we're looking a mess. No.
This is the thing. You go on a show and the whole purpose of your whole storyline is being this condescending, sedity, snobby person, then you can't really expect people to have empathy for you. But they always do, because you mentioned Nene. Nene was one of the biggest bullies on Real Housewives. And then when she went through her situation, when her husband passed away, all of a sudden she could not believe that people weren't more empathetic with her. And it's like, girl, you have made a brand off of bullying and being hateful to other people. It's not going to work like that. So I can understand what you're saying as far as that's concerned. I guess I don't quite see Charisse in the same way. People are saying menopause. The reality is, what you do at one point in your life may not be what you can always do. So you should practice being a kinder person, because
that's always my motto. Yeah. You cannot go around treating people badly and doing things like karma does not have an expiration date. It can just pop up.
It'll wait on it. It'll wait on gravity. It'll wait on time.
And as we can see, it has waited on gravity with Charisse, because like I said, I was really waiting. I really do think that Charisse can still have a triumphant story.
Right.
Like, people have been making fun of like her weight and stuff. I just feel like that comes with age, but she can still like.
No, Karen does. I mean, Karen is around the same age and she doesn't look like that. But
like Charisse.
I'm saying weight, when you combine, and we know you can be Wendy's an example. Wendy was the most brilliant, accomplished, but women, when it comes to reality TV,
They
they
get on these shows and they lose their minds.
they
I feel
care
like.
more about the physical aesthetic than
Yeah,
anything. I
they
read a
care more
quote
about the
one time,
aesthetic.
women would rather be pretty than rich. Women would rather be pretty than smart. And so when we're talking about that, Charisse is showing up the way she's at. She cannot feel good about it. Like, I'm not saying that she shouldn't feel good about herself, but the fact that we don't see her really spending a lot of time making sure her aesthetic is together proves she's not in a good space.
But
Because
I think that also goes with it's kind of like that stuff doesn't last anyway. Like the physical appearance fades. So like a Giselle. Giselle is still beautiful, but you can tell that she's aging. So it really bothers me when she says things to Karen like, why are we having this geriatric argument? And it's like, but you have a geriatric neck, like you have like wrinkles or whatever in your neck.
She does. She does.
So how can you say that about them?
It is a cautionary tale, ladies, everyone watching and that watches reality TV. It's just a cautionary tale to women, period. Not only do you look different, because that pretty is great, but it has an expiration date on it, but also the way other people receive you, which is why I started this conversation saying with Karen, her antics, I expect more, because with age should come wisdom. It doesn't all the time, and we see that with
these on a reality show. I'm sorry, it's not.
Though. It should, because there's a way. To me, Lisa Vanderpump, I'm a big fan of Lisa Vanderpump on Housewives of Beverly Hills. Lisa is of a particular age. She's still fabulous, but she does not try to. She will give little subs, but she does it all in a very much like, honey, you could never. I love it, because for me, the age that I am, I'm not going back and forth with a 20-year-old the same way that she's going to go back and forth with another 20-year-old. I would play myself. So you got to know, Karen played herself with that dumbass lie. Now,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If she would have kept that part out, everything else would have been great. It would have landed wonderfully. I get it. I'm not going back and forth with anybody, and I'm only 30. I just lied. I just turned 32 yesterday. So don't even
happy birthday.
Don't even remember how old I am, okay? But I'm not going back and forth with anybody at all. I'm just not doing it.
Adela said Giselle is 15 minutes younger than Karen. You're right.
Yes, she is.
You're right, Karen. But and you can look good, but it ain't the same. You can look good, but you don't look the same. So you have to know that. And depression, menopause, all this stuff is stuff that everybody deals with. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like, how much money you have. Everybody deals with this stuff. So you got to remember, you may be up, but life continues to happen, and at some point you may be down. So I think it just needs to go across the board. But that's what the reality shows are about, so we can see the other side of it and we can enjoy it and laugh. But I don't know about Karen coming out fighting, but
see, I said that in the beginning. Thank you, Tyra's World. Thank you for the happy birthday wish as well. But I said that I told you that. I said Karen does not start with these people. She has her little shade in her confessionals.
She has shade, and she has a lot of
stuff. She's with the group. She literally sits there quiet. She kind of floats by.
She has a lot of shade in the confessional. She'll
chime in once in a while, but she does not start these arguments. Like, my thing is like, okay, Charisse, if you're like, if Karen doesn't want to be bothered with you, I'm never going to be that pressed.
Right.
To be like, well, what's the issue? I don't care about the issue. If I'm easily discarded like that in your life, then we don't need to be friends.
It's because she wants to be back on the show. And I feel like
that is with Karen. That is Karen's argument. She's trying to pick an argument with me and have this bigger issue than I actually have with her.
Yeah.
To get back on the show. And like, you're not going to use me. And I would have preferred if Karen would have just stayed quiet, like give you nothing.
Yeah, that would have been better, because I don't like it. We said once
she's still been popping up at events and still been a friend to the show. And now I feel like Charisse is about to get her champagne flute again because Karen gave in.
I don't know if she is, because I think the look is going to keep her from getting it. I think in order to get it, you gotta fit the mold, and she don't fit right now. So I don't know. We'll see.
If you're watching, we're telling you now that, if you get a better wig and
get in the gym
I don't have a problem with the way you don't have to get in the gym. Like she's, she is older. Maybe she doesn't want to work out, but there are outfits that will look better.
Says okay, just because a woman is of a particular age doesn't mean that she doesn't want to work out.
No, I'm just saying she just seems like she doesn't want to work out right now. And that's okay.
She's just not in a good place. We want her to get in a better place. Y'all have
a better place. I want her to I want Charisse to look her best, feel her best, be her best, and and really come out swinging. Yeah. If you want to lose weight, lose weight. If you don't want to lose weight, don't lose weight. But don't come on camera. But find a wig. Don't get better lashes. The lashes are too long because her eyes already look a little hazier. So when the eyes are down, the lashes look longer.
You know what, ma'am?
I've been wanting to say this about Charisse all season. You cannot come on camera doing this and looking like this.
I don't like it either, but I feel like it's all the way around. I feel like if you see yourself on camera and you don't like how you look, it makes you do one or two things. Either you go overboard or you just totally just don't care. And it looks like she just doesn't care, because on this trip, I'm just I don't even, when she comes on this, I just be like, oh damn, she's like
I said, she's the new Katie Ross, because Katie had funny moments when she was coming in with a headscarf on and her beach smock, to dinner. She still was funny. Just like Charisse still says things that are funny, or it makes you think, why is Karen avoiding me?
I feel like she just looks and it's sad because she did start everything, right? Everything was around her at first, but I don't even feel like she's as witty as she used to be. It's all bad. The shake and go.
Yeah, them really banging tables and really about to fight. It's what are y'all doing?
Oh man, I meant to put you guys' quotes on. I'm going to be back tonight. If you guys have time tonight, I have Joy and Clifton from Love and Marriage DC. And you guys and these comments, it's the menopause for Charisse. I can't. Shake and go it's just not the right wig. But I just want to be fair. It's a lot of
someone earlier said that she looks like she gets her wigs from the bodega.
But I just want to be clear. There's a lot of bad wigs. There's a lot of bad wigs on this show. A lot of bad wigs. A lot of bad hair. But generally, most of the women are really pretty and they can pull it off. Because Giselle gets a lot of passes because she's just a very standardly beautiful woman, but her wigs don't be right. They don't be right. I don't know why we can't can we get a wigologist or someone from Atlanta to come?
That's what I said she needs to get a better wig.
You guys need to fly somebody in. I got a girlfriend, Michael Michelle. She will get all the ladies' hair straight on Potomac for that reunion. Hopefully it's right. But anyway, we done went way over, but I thank you guys for hanging out with us. This has been a fun lunch hour on a Monday. Brenda, I love you. We will be back on Thursday.
Yes, we will be, to recap Married at First Sight.
Married at First Sight. And this season of Married at First Sight also is giving exactly what Potomac is giving. If you guys have not tuned in, you need to tune in, because I don't know about any love matches, but it's gonna be a lot of drama, and we are getting into it Thursday night. All right. Thank you, Suburbia. Thank you guys. Tyra says pull out the binder. Y'all, you know what? We'll be back.
Yeah, I want somebody to pull out a binder in this reunion, preferably Candace, because Candace has really redeemed herself this
Candace
year.
has. I wasn't a big fan because of her going back and forth, but this season I like it. She's maturing. But even when she did stuff, because she was so young, you just get a pass when you're young and figuring it out. There's just no passes.
She's older than me.
Well, you're young, Brenda.
I'm just saying. People used to say that all the time. Well, she's young. I'm like, girl, she's younger on the cast. I always gave Candace a pass because I genuinely felt like she didn't start stuff. She finished it well, but she didn't.
I like the fact that she's good with her words. She's funny
with her words.
She's got a lot of personality, and that's not something that we often see. But all right, you guys, we are out of here. Thank you for hanging out with us. Like I said, I will be back at 8:00 tonight with Joy and Clifton. And Brenda will be back on Thursday as we recap Married at First Sight. You guys have a blessed Monday, and I'll see you tonight. Bye.